Oh my god, people. So I've been working on this for a little while, and I'm trying to figure out if there is a negative 0. I believe there actually is a negative 0. And where would it be? Of course, it's probably right here. And 0 is the center of all numbers if this thing is not there, but since the considering fact that it is here, there is no center. But, yeah, 0 is both a negative and positive number, or it's neither. Every number has an extra of itself, which is a negative. 0 doesn't have a negative. Negative 0 would still most likely be 0. Yeah, now let me explain this. It's mostly an opposite. Would be the left. Of course, it's right over here, the left. Because this left side is the negatives, right side is the positives. There's also no number between negative 0 and 0. It's an issue. The decimals then are separated from here, because every number has infinite decimals in front of it, or in the back of it. But considering this, they're gonna split a bit or something, like there won't be any right over here. Yeah, so what's crazy is there, that says there, it's ugly there, there is infinite numbers between numbers. Yeah, I was saying the decimals though. Negative 0 plus negative 0 equals 0. Maybe. That's one we solve later. So basically this is it. So I show how it is. 0 plus negative 1 equals negative 1. Wait a minute, what in the world? Oh, yeah, now I see. See, when you have a number and you add 0 to it, nothing changes. So, like, 0 plus 1 would be 1. 2 plus 0 would be 2. So, negative is the opposite of this. Negative, for example, the negative 0 adding to a positive would change that number to just a negative. Negative 0 plus 1 would equal negative 1. Negative 0 plus negative 1 would equal positive 1. Adding 0 to a number doesn't change anything. Same thing. And negative 0 to a number switches the positive and negatives. So positive goes to negative and negative goes to positive. So right here he's got another one. There's tape because that ripped a bit. There's a little bit more examples of subtraction. Subtraction gets confusing later on, and it took him a while to solve a problem. In fact, 2 negatives make a positive. Negative 0 actually breaks this logic. Negative 0 makes problems the complete opposite to 0 in problems. Negative 0 also may prove that 0 isn't negative or positive. It's nothing, of course. Like, negative 0 is just it's also nothing, but has some opposite to the nothing. It's also nothing, but finds the opposite. There are also a lot of unsolved problems with 0, so negative 0 would also have problems. Like, for example, negative 0 divided by negative 0. Yeah, 0 divided by 0 still hasn't been solved. So that would create more of an issue. So multiplication is quite the same. It goes with that. Negative 0 is the same in multiplication as 0. So same goes for dividing. Now this is where things get really confusing. So over here it equals 1. How? How does negative 0 plus 0 equal 1? Well, if we go right here, let's try it. Negative 0, see this whole thing here. So negative 0 plus 0 equals 1. Because right here, this one plus the 0, so it goes in order to equal 1. Negative 0 plus negative 0 equals 0. Considering it's subtracting, yeah, so it's actually adding itself. So it's adding itself to duplicate to get that. Negative 0 minus negative 0, negative 1, because it's subtracting itself, and then it gets to negative 1. This one took a while. It might actually have 2 answers, 1 or negative 0. So, before we get to that one, let me just explain a bit. Negative 0 is behind 0. Negative 0 plus the next number, 0, equals 1. 1 is created from nothing, and the opposite, or something else of nothing. 0 is in front of negative 0, such that negative 0 is 0. Negative 0 minus another negative 0 is negative 1. Negative 1 is left of negative 0. Now, the last one is confusing. Considering we see the pattern 1, 0, -1. So the last one would obviously be this. However, that is not the case. Not the real case at all. So this is where things get confusing. I forgot what I even did. I'm still trying to figure this out. But right here. So this is basically 0. So this is this problem in reverse to equaling this, as you can see from up here. And -0 plus 0, yeah, I just wrote the rest of it down because I was an idiot. I don't know why I did that. I'm not an idiot, I figured this whole thing out. And -0 doubled, right? 0, yeah. It's basically, this is confusing. I didn't do multiplication and division yet. So that's gonna be another tough one to actually do. And if I don't figure that out, then -0 might not exist. I don't know. Yeah, so here's the equation again. But then we have this. So let's say we change this to a positive. That would equal -0. Probably equal 1. It might have 2 answers. See, it would have 1. Oh, I'm so confused with this one though. I still don't remember what I did. Yeah. It's this one here. So I basically reversed this. Somewhere around here. I kind of... I feel like I'm erasing this thing with my finger. That looks like an ugly 0, but we'll go with it. So -0. -0 plus 0 equals -0, or 1. That one. So, that has to be 1, if it's reverse of that. Almost, as if it is. Now, it was like 1 minus, let's say, 0. Let's say, yeah, so 1 minus 0 is just 1. You can't get to -0 in it. So that creates another issue that's oddly weird, but somehow -0 can be created, I guess you could say. But that's another issue. Something that breaks logic, so it wouldn't make anything that -0 can exist. It can't. Or it can, because there's also issues that we can solve with it. But at the same time, it also gets confusing. But let's say 1 minus -0, then that would equal 0. So, here we have this. So, -0 equals 0 minus this. So, I basically switched the equal and negative. They're switched. So, as a result, this has to equal -0, and the pattern is correct. But some can say it is 1 for this exact thing. And even then, subtracting 1 would, let's say, 1 minus, 1 minus -0 equals 0. But also, again, that is actually, it is, again, another issue. It equals -1. So that's when my theory actually breaks, and I don't think I actually have it right. So, in conclusion, I could be wrong about it. But all I'm saying is I may have solved -0 existence, or I could be incorrect. But my assuming maybe could be correct. So, if we switch the equals and negative, then we do get the -0 right there. So, let's see. -0. So that equals -1. No, that's a 0. Alright, that's a 0. So it's subtraction. That's the switch with that spot. So it's a -0 minus 0, which finally equals -0. Question Solved. Case closed. Oh, damn it. Yeah. I tried to clap in one. I was holding my phone. But, yeah. So, that is clear answer. But now I need to continue and explain the differences and everything that's going to be a problem. It also breaks it from existence and not really happen, I guess. But, yeah. This is really, really confusing. I'm surprised I actually even figured this shit out. Like, damn. Yeah, mates. Get this to a scientist or a mathematic. I want them to see this video. And I want to know what they think of this.